Jazzy from A Whole New World with Jazzy, and I'm bringing y'all my first YouTube video. Hey. I'm so excited. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about my trip, my experience at the National Museum for African American History and Culture. This museum was absolutely amazing. Like, I'm already proud to be black and I love being black, but baby, leaving that museum and just seeing how everything was put together and how it was done, I'm just like, yeah. It was the bomb. I loved it. So the first thing I'll go over with you guys is the entry process, because a lot of people feel like they can just walk up to the museum and just go straight in. This museum is very popular and they really don't take walk-ins. They have stuff on their website that that states that if you come, I think it's after 1 daily, you'll be able to, there's a chance you might be able to walk in, but I just recommend getting your tickets in advance. I went in March, and to go in March I had to get tickets in December, and they only go online like once a month. I believe it's like the first Wednesday of like every other month or every month or something like that. So you want to make sure that you check out their website to get information on getting tickets to the museum. This museum is 6 levels. 6 levels of all things black, going from history, culture, music, film, dance, gestures, like everything. Like, it literally embodies black history and black culture. With that being said, there is a lot of information and a lot of content at this museum. So I suggest, when I went, we only visited the museum 2 days, so we did 3 levels a day. And y'all, I don't recommend doing that, because baby, my feet, if they could fight me, they would have squared up with me. Like, my feet was hurting so bad, but the information was so great and we wanted to make sure that we seen everything. We literally were there like 5 and 6 hours a day, just making sure that we see everything. And it can be a bit overwhelming, so I would recommend maybe doing 1 floor a day or 2 floors a day, but don't try to do the whole thing in 1 day or 2 days, because then, you know, you're wasting your trip there, because you're trying to cram all this stuff in and then you're rushing to walk through the museum because you're on a time crunch. So definitely that's something for you guys to think about. So I got this shirt outside of the museum. I want to say I paid maybe 15 to 20 bucks, but it is popping. So in the back it has the museum, and then it has all these great black women. And it says girls trip, and I just love this shirt so much. It's so freaking cute. I bet y'all can't name everybody on this shirt. If you can't, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Anyways, now I'm going to get into some things that stuck out to me at the museum. I really liked that they had Nat Turner. They had his Bible on display. I love that they really took the time to go over everything, such as, like, you know, dance, music, film, gestures, slavery, civil rights movement, transitioning from the civil rights movement into like all the other things. And they even had like stuff on Obama, Michelle, Oprah has like a really big section there, and the display of everything was very nice. They also had like a shawl that Harriet Tubman actually wore, so that was pretty cool. They have a lot of neat things from, you know, back in the day on display that people have like donated to the museum. Another nice thing was they had Emmett Till. They had an Emmett Till memorial, and they had his actual casket in there, so you actually, it was like a funeral when you went into that part of the museum. So that was really amazing and really touching, and you really just felt like you were there that day at the funeral. That really stuck with me a lot. They also had slavery stuff, but they had pre-slavery stuff, because black history didn't begin with slavery, but they have pre-slavery stuff. And they even talk about how in Africa before the Atlantic slave trade that there were slaves, but they also, you know, let you know that it wasn't the same type of slavery, and slaves weren't treated as harsh as they were over here. And they I heard a tour guide telling people about, you know, jumping the broom when you get married, and it was just things like that that you don't necessarily expect. You know, we as Black people, we know about these things, and yes, this is a Black History Museum, but I was still expecting it to be, you know, a little washed down. And I was really shocked at how raw and how, you know, true, and just how everything was presented. It was just presented in the it is what it is type display. They also had things on frats and sororities, Masons. They had, they talked about the historically Black college and universities. It's just a really, really good museum. Another thing that stuck out to me was the section where they talked about Black gestures. I just thought it was really funny and really cool, but they had like gestures of dismissal, and there was like a picture of Nene, and she just looking like, not today, like you're not about to try me. And so they had all of those type of images on display, and they called them the gestures of dismissal, which meant like, you know, because that's what we do, like, you know, we got all type of gestures and facial expressions and things that we do as a culture. Some other things I wanted to display that shocked me would be they talked about bamboo earrings, they talked about hot combs, they had Madam C.J. Walker. They also had a video about light skin, dark skin, red bone, like those type of issues, and that I was not expecting that at all. And you know, I just really, honestly, this museum is really, really good. And I'm like, no wonder you have to get your tickets like 3 months in advance, because I'm pretty sure, you know, everybody is trying to get there because it is so amazing. Like, amazing. Like, if you went there and you ain't like it, then something wrong with you. But anyways, so now I'm gonna get into some stuff that I felt like should have been on display at the museum. I didn't see these things, but you did see that they're going to be adding stuff to the museum. You could tell by how some of the stuff was set up that they're going to be making adjustments and adding to the museum. So some of this stuff could be in the works, but I would have liked to see this stuff in the museum. So the first thing would be information on Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, this is about a time period in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it was basically like Wakanda. Wakanda forever. Like Wakanda, there was a Black community that was very successful, had their own businesses, banks, all that stuff, schools. It was just Black everything, and it was successful. And it was like destroyed and bombed by racist people. They should have had that there. And then I also didn't see anything, I didn't see much in regards to like science. And I feel like they should have had a lot more stuff about science. That's the only area that I think I didn't really see anything on, was like science type of history. So they should have had information about the NASA workers, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson. I didn't see nothing in there about that, and I don't know how they missed that one, or how they didn't put that, why they didn't put that in there, but that definitely needs to go in there. But then again, it could be in the works. I also didn't see anything about Henrietta Lacks, and you know, Henrietta Lacks, her cancer cells really contributed to some major discoveries in the medical field, so that definitely should have been told about in the museum, especially since all these years she never got credit for it, and like her family never received any type of payments or anything like that, and her cells really have really helped the medical industry. So, and if you don't know about her, you should definitely take some time and familiarize yourself with her and her cells, and how they have really made a huge difference. Like, for real, your girl should have been in the museum. And that's the only things that I could think of now that shouldn't have been in there. I do feel like some musical artists should have had maybe bigger displays, but I mean, that's not really a big deal. But anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can see my future videos. I will be talking about places that I have been to, places that I'm going to, what you should do when you go to these places, what you shouldn't do. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram and Facebook. Go ahead and follow your girl. And if you still listening to this video, you real. Anyways, see y'all later. Bye.